Hello, friends and family. Today I want to talk about making a difference. I'm Jen. Today and every day we talk about my quest to crush aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, DLBCL, stage 4. And we're using the R-EPOCH immunotherapy chemotherapy to crush Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thank you so much for joining me today on the journey. Let's get into it. So I have one of these lovely little cards. Here we go. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James. So to be fair, I really had no idea what I was going to talk about until about 5 minutes ago when I pulled this card out of the box. And then I said, can I talk about this? Yes, I can. So here are my thoughts. How did I make a difference today? And how did you make a difference today? Today I made a cake for Sam and his friends that made them all feel special. It made Sam feel special because we were again celebrating his birthday, even though it wasn't the way he envisioned his 21st birthday. And I think it also made his friends feel special because I made another cake. Because when I brought the cake out, they said, Sam, you still had this much. I thought you guys ate the cake. I saw the cake on Monday. Apparently he had shared the pictures with his friends. And he said, no, my mom made a new cake for us. And so they were all spiffed up about it. Now that was kind of the opposite. So the cake that I made on Monday at Sam's request was chocolate with vanilla icing. This cake, he said, well, I can make whatever I have. And what you may remember was that I bought the wrong ingredients. So the cake I made today were the wrong ingredients, which was vanilla cake with chocolate icing. And my secret little pièce de resistance, Sam is quite the cookies and cream aficionado. He likes cookies and cream, ice cream, and chocolate bars, the white chocolate with the cookie, the cookie crumbles. So for both cakes, both the chocolate cake and the vanilla cake, I did a vanilla icing in the middle with crushed Oreos as the filling, which was very popular with the whole family and especially Sam. So it made him feel special. So that was good. Okay. And I think we're done with cake for a while because we had Bill's 3-year heart birthday, then Sam's birthday, and then Sam's birthday again. So I'm hoping this is it for a little bit. Okay, what else did I do? I prepared some education that I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit right here. And finally, I guided a young man. I feel that I probably made a difference in his journey. And, I felt good about that. And I'll talk about that a little bit later too. So today, even though it was kind of a slow day, and I am very beat at the moment, I feel like I did make a difference today. Today made a difference. So I feel good about that. So I'm doing okay today. I'm tired, as I just mentioned. If the prednisone would have let me, I may have napped today. A couple times I did lay down and relax, but I didn't really get to nap. So hopefully I'll get to bed a little bit earlier than normal, but we'll see. And tomorrow, as far as getting up, I just have to be up for Nurse Lana for my bag change by noonish. So I could probably sleep in a bit. Fingers crossed. If the prednisone lets me. All right, so I decided today I am the angel that gave the delivery. And this is a little bit of that story. So this morning, I was just flipping through Reddit while I was still laying in bed. And there was a young man who said, I guess he'd posted previously. I didn't see the previous post, but he was on a train to go visit his father. And he was fearful that this might be the last time to see him because the father had cancer. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. We used to text several times a day. I haven't been texting him because it's too much for him and I don't want to be a bother, and so forth and so on. And so, I kind of responded with, well, A, you're not a bother. When I had cancer 15 years ago, we had a bed in the bedroom, in the living room so the kids could interact with me, so they could climb into bed and cuddle. So I was part of their life, even though I was really debilitated. I'm like, he will be happy just to have you there. And then I went on to say, still text him, even if he can't text you back. It'll make him feel loved. It will make him feel supported. It will make him not feel like he means nothing anymore, like he's just stopped caring. I said, if you can, maybe you could record some messages. It might be easier for him to listen to your message than to read your message. If you don't get a response, that's okay. He still got that message and it meant something to him. And then I also went on to say, if this was his last opportunity to see him in person, he might want to record him telling his favorite story, or you could do some kind of like little mini interview about, his feelings on different topics, just so that you have that memento, something to hold on to. And he thanked me immediately, almost immediately, so he must have been watching, for giving the perspective of the parent, which, obviously when we walk through life, we have our perspective and it's difficult to see others. And he said, he kind of asked me, well, what would be a bad thing? Or, how could I hurt him and that kind of thing? And I said, well, I'm like, I don't, he didn't really give any information about what kind of cancer his dad had. So I basically said, a hug might hurt him, but he might want one anyway. Other choices are holding hands, holding arms, holding legs. That touch, is important. It makes you feel loved. I said, talk to him. Let him know how you feel. Let him know you'll miss him, but don't make him feel bad for dying or for having cancer, because he can't control those things. But it helps to know those things. And again, he responded. And he said something about, in one of his responses, he asked me about my cancer journey, which I shared at 10,000 feet, because this was really about him and his dad. And then later on in the day, I saw responses from other people whose parents had died, or were sick like this, or from other parents. There was another mom who said, she's terminal, and last year she had like some really bad runs, and just having her adult children and her husband there, even when she couldn't interact with them, gave her joy. So I think he got the answers he needed. And by the end of the kind of chat, he was redditing us, saying, I'm sitting on the couch with him, and it's sad but beautiful. They're interacting. He's like, I really fear this is the last time I'll see him. He's just so deteriorated from 3 weeks ago. But I think, like I said, in my mind, and maybe it's in my mind, I was his angel today by giving him, some confidence and some inspiration, and just level setting and saying, no, you don't step back. Keep going. Your dad needs you now. Okay, so I don't know why I'm so emotional about that, but all right, let's keep going. Nurse Lana came today and changed my bag. That'll be every day. Okay, and the education I prepared for you, I think we've done this before, but I thought I would mention it again. I think I'm going to put some pictures on the screen or just words. I talk about at the beginning every time that I'm on the R-EPOCH immunotherapy chemotherapy, and I wanted to tell you about that again because you haven't heard about it enough. So the R is Rituxan, or it's also called Ruxience rituximab PVVR IV. And this is the immunotherapy, which to me is kind of cool, very cool. This is an immunotherapy that specifically targets lymphoma. So it comes in and it goes in and it kills those lymphoma cells. And this is what I was talking about, I think earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week. My doc said you could stop that other medication because we don't think there are that many lymphoma cells left in there where you have to worry about it breaking down and causing all those issues. But we still do the full course of treatment. It's part of the treatment. So that's what we did. So that was the first thing we did. I'm sorry. Well, first I got Aloxi and Civanti, which are both anti-anemic IV drugs, to try to control the nausea and all those symptoms. And then the next thing we do, and Benadryl and Tylenol. So it's kind of a lot of pre-meds, they call them. And then the next thing we did was the rituximab. And that's the immunotherapy. And I did that in the center. And then before I leave the center, they hook me up to my bag. I think I've shown you guys the bag before. If you're interested in seeing it, let me know, because this is my, hopefully, last time to show you, but I'm happy to show you the whole setup shebang. Now in the bag has 3. So let me go backwards. So all the letters R-EPOCH stand for something. So the R is the immunotherapy. So that's why it's kind of separated. The next one, the E, is etopicide. And then the P is prednisone. And so the prednisone I take orally. Etopicide is in the cocktail that's in my bag here. Okay. And then just making sure I'm not forgetting anything. So EPO. So vincristine sulfate is also called Oncovin, ONCOVIN, which I believe is a name brand. So that's how the O came into the EPOCH. The C is cyclophosphamide, which I don't get as part of this cocktail. That's the drug that I go back to the center on Tuesday for. And then the H, okay, this is a tough one for me, sorry. Here we go. Hydroxydonorubicin is the H. Now it's also referred to as adriamycin. That is all, that's R-EPOCH. Okay, so I think I've mentioned a couple times another treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, the large B cell, diffuse large B cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, DLBCL, is R-CHOP. And if you look at the letters in R-EPOCH, let me do some magic here, R-EPOCH and R-CHOP, you can see that they're really similar, except one medication is missing. And what is missing is the etopicide. And it's also administered differently. So the R-EPOCH, you guys are very familiar with by now. I get the one medication, the Rituxan, at the center. I get hooked up to my bag for 4 straight days, and then I go back to the center, get disconnected from the bag, and I get that last chemotherapy with some pre-meds. They give me anti-nausea meds, but and then I'm done with the poisoning section. For R-CHOP, and maybe I need to do a little more research here, but I think it's 1 or 2 clinic days right together. And it's all those meds, but it's in smaller doses. I shouldn't say it that way. It's in similar doses, but not spread out the way the R-EPOCH is. So, for example, my fanny pack of medication, which has etopicide, so it wouldn't be exactly the same, is 420 cc's or mLs a day. So that would be 1680 cc's. And so, assuming similar for R-CHOP, they could administer that over the course of the day, but some of the medications can't be done together, as you know already. So, but you can do it right after you flush it out of the line. So they would do the Rituxan, but the Rituxan might take a while. So when you get to the later cycles, the Rituxan, the immunotherapy, can be administered over the course of an hour to 2 hours, hour and a half. But early, and I think I shared this with you guys, and particularly if we go back, it's administered kind of the way that a transfusion is administered. They give you very slow dose at first, for first half hour, do vitals, make sure everything's okay, then speed it up a little bit for another half hour, and then speed it up a little bit for another half hour, so that by the time you get, let's see, this was almost 600 mLs. It was 588 mLs. So it takes, I think the first time they administered it was 4 or 5 hours of administration because of that slow, gradual checking on you process. In any case. So I think whether you could do it in a day or 2 might have something to do with the immunotherapy and how long that takes you to get it at the clinic. All right, so that was my little chemotherapy education for the day. I don't know. Hopefully that was helpful to someone somewhere. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but this is to the best of my knowledge. So let's do my to-do list. I did have chemotherapy because it walks around with me everywhere. I hydrated. I'm doing pretty well today. I did rest. I think I was in bed till 10 or 11 today. I can't remember. Oh, I did not send that robo-mail. I'm going to have to work on that. We'll put that on my to-do must. I did bake a cake. I did have a bag change. We had the robotics award show today for the district level, so it would have been an equivalent to when we were at our first levels of competitions. Sadly, we did not progress to the next level, but that's okay. One of our mentors sent out mail to the young ladies that were presenting and said, "You didn't win, but you won, and here's what you won." And I couldn't agree more wholeheartedly, because they just were so amazing. They were so teachable, and they've learned skills that they'll carry on for the rest of their lives. So I'm just so pleased. And we told them, in some of our last meetings, that if you did win or didn't win, it didn't have as much to do with how you presented or the program that you presented as what the other teams did, and we don't have any way to see that. So, and it is somewhat subjective by the judges, which again, we can't help that either. But they did a lovely job, and all the teams that won, congratulations. Let's see. Oh, and I started working on a new crochet project. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm just trying to use up some yarn that I had, so we'll see. If I like it and I get far enough along that I don't run out of yarn, then I will share it with you. Otherwise, it was just a lovely way to pass my time. Active meditation. All right, my to-do must list. To-do must. Rest. Hydrate. Clean the kitchen. Send out that robo-mail. I got to get on that. My to-do would love to do clean and laundry. I don't think I mentioned in my to-do list, I did clean the kitchen some today because Nurse Lana came. That's good motivation, right? All right, so I did a smidgen on charity miles. I don't think it was much. Less than a quarter mile. I don't know if I'll get some more in. I did get all my step goal for Fitbit, but not for charity miles. That's the way it goes today. However, we do have 19 members on our team. We've moved collectively 1,619 miles. Cannot get over that number. And here's our team name. If you're interested in joining us, please feel free. Also, there's a link down below in the description. This came for story time. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will see you tomorrow. Love you. Remember, every day is a gift. Live it. We'll see you tomorrow.